Welcome to a new episode of For the Love of Writing. I am here doing a follow-up episode. Damn it, I froze. What the hell?
You're
There we
good. You're good. You're unfrozen.
Sure.
Good.
Okay. Oh, I hate the internet so much. I'm here a follow-up episode with Celeste Ross, somebody I've had on before. Very happy to have on again. I have read one of your books.
Mm-hmm.
You're going to be releasing a new one soon.
Yep. It is the sequel to The Blood Oath, which is my debut.
Now, I've read The Blood Oath, and you know how I feel about it. Do you want me to say to people how I feel?
Go for it.
You sure?
I guess. I mean, try to go easy on the spoilers, but
All right. So there's this big airplane scene where the whole community, the airplane goes into them and just blows up all their shit.
and then everyone dies.
Yes, that's the whole book.
The end.
Page 1, you see the airplane. Page 2, everyone dies. Page 3 is done. It's a short story. No, it was a great book. I loved The Blood Oath. It was twisted, but really good. It was much different than I thought it would be going into it.
Really? Okay. How so?
A lot different. I thought that it was going to be, I don't know why, but I thought that you were going to have it focus on like 10 different characters. And you kept it between like pretty much like 3 couples were brought up a lot during it. And then the antagonist of the book, who's like the bad person. I loved how you did it. It was much darker than I thought it would be, which is a good thing, because I thought it was going to be pretty light. So I liked. I don't know why. I thought it was going to be light. The part your prologue gave me. I won't spoil anything, but the prologue made me think, oh, why does she even like this person? And then by the end, I was like, okay, now this makes more sense. And it was great. My Achilles tendons were killing me around the end, but that's what you're supposed to feel. That's gonna make so many people confused. What the hell is he talking about? Achilles tendon? But yeah, you did a good job. You did a great job with it, and I enjoyed reading it. I loved I don't think this will give anything away. One of my favorite scenes that sticks out the most, just because I think it's because I'm a guy. The shower scene when they're all talking, and he's telling them to like shut up, and they're like, "Next shampoo," and he's like keeps telling them to shut up, and it's I was
they knew. And they were pretending that they didn't know, and then they're like just giving them crap when they leave.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I genuinely was laughing at that. And I don't laugh a lot when I read books, especially one like that. And it definitely had some dark subject matter that I was not expecting it to have. But I love the way that you wrote about it, to where I don't know, those people became so alive to me that it's like I really want to know what happens with them next, which is what you want from a book. You don't want the story to end. And you've got Broken Binds coming out soon, and I'm excited to dive into that. I want to know what happens. You left it off on a really good cliffhanger. They're all I'll say is they're in the hospital, and then they get that thing. They're in the hospital, right?
No. Actually.
Wow.
So River had a home birth, but I can understand why you were.
Yes.
I mean, nothing happened. There was no home birth. What are you talking about?
No, but that's not a spoiler. Don't worry.
Right.
That's not a spoiler. If trust me, anybody listening is like, okay, so somebody has a kid. That's all you heard. Um, I do have a question though.
Mm-hmm.
There is a character named River and a character named Valley. Did you do that on purpose? Like River Valley?
Um, what do you mean, like the?
Like the name, like I don't know. I've heard the words river and valley before put
Mm-hmm.
in a sentence like they were one word, like a river valley. I've heard that
Huh.
before. And I thought because I heard there's a person named Forest, a person
Mm-hmm.
named a person named River, and a person named Valley. And I thought, did you pick those on purpose because they all are like things, or did you pick
No.
those at random?
Oh. So like how the church works, if you don't remember, is everybody who is born into the church, because like they're very like focused on nature. They're like hippies on crack. So everybody born into the church has like a nature based name. Like that's where River and Valley and Rose and Lavender and all those names come from. And then the converts, so the people that like weren't born into the church, but then they like converted a little bit later, have like regular names. So that's Aaron and Michael and Trevor. And that's a really easy way to remember who was born there and who wasn't.
I just realized Rose and Lavender.
Hmm.
I like the way I like the names you pick
Thank you.
uh, for this book. There were times when I'd be reading it. You know, I read a lot on my lunch breaks mainly, and like before I go to bed at night. And there'd be times where I'd tell my wife, "You gotta read this." I'd be like, the way you write. If you took anything out, it wouldn't make sense anymore. Where there's other authors where I've read their stuff and I thought, well, you didn't have to have that in. Where with
Hmm.
your stuff, it's almost like
There's not really any filler. Everything has some
yeah,
kind of
there's
purpose,
no
whether
it's really tight.
right. Even if the scenes that might feel kind of like filler, like, they're just hanging out or whatever, that's still some kind of like connecting to the characters, getting to know them a little
Yeah,
bit more, like character development. Like everything has a purpose in some way.
like even the spicy scenes have a point,
Mm,
and something normally happens during the spicy scenes, and
hmm.
that adds to the story. And a lot of people probably like if you're writing a book on grief, you've got to take the characters through the grieving process,
Right.
and so, some people get bored of that. I don't personally. I like seeing the characters form, but you make the characters form in a way that it's like you feel connected to them. Like you start taking sides with which character you agree with.
Yeah.
And I loved that about the Blood Oath in a way that I don't know. It was like because I read your husband's book first, I I was expecting the same kind of story, like the same tone from you, and I
Hmm.
got totally different. I don't know why I was expecting the same tone.
Maybe it's just because, like,
I
I don't
figured
know.
I figured because
Like
like
you
I don't
just
know.
like connect us in your brain. Yeah, I get it.
Yeah, and when I
Hmm.
read your book, I was like, this is totally different from the other book I read.
Yeah.
And it's like the cover is an upside down heart. And then I found out you didn't do that on purpose.
No,
But
I was just going for like the silhouette with like the willow branches and the grass kind of coming around them, all creepy. And then I think you're the one that pointed out like if you flip it over, it kind of looks like a heart. And like I never even noticed that when I was doing that. Like that
I
was not intentional, but it's cool.
maybe it was intentional and you just didn't realize it. Maybe you saw that it looked like an upside down heart and your brain caught it, but you didn't. Because
Right.
that's happened to me, to where somebody will tell me, this is from the book and it's in the cover. You did a good job with that. I'm like, I didn't even mean to do that. And
Mm.
it's like on the Wendy's logo. The Wendy has that mom thing across her neck.
Yeah, I
And
know what you're talking about. Yeah.
yeah, and they were asked, "Did you guys do that on purpose?" And they said, "And no." Then it's like that was a coincidence, and
Yeah.
maybe that's what that heart was. But I anybody who hasn't read The Blood Oath yet, definitely, it's a great read. It's definitely a trigger warning book, but I love trigger warnings. Like I love,
Yeah.
to me, I mean, a book doesn't have to, without trigger warnings, it can still be really good. But I don't know. I think the trigger warnings kind of spice it up a little bit. Not spice it up, but make it more a crazier read, like something to really just
It's
like.
like it's higher stakes, I guess, and like you know that something's gonna go down, and yeah, I get
Yeah,
it. It makes you
to where
slightly more
it's
invested in it when there's conflict and mhm.
yeah, and it makes you want to be like, why is this trigger warning here? And then
Mhm.
it's you like, I really felt like because I want to make sure I'm saying the right name here, because I'm reading a book right now. I want to make sure I don't accidentally say the person's name, the guy's name of the book. It's Aaron, right?
Mhm.
Oh, thank God. I almost said Asher for a minute. I was thinking. Yeah, but I really vibe with Aaron because I don't know. That reminds me of myself in a way. I also feel kind of like Trevor, which I don't know how to feel about that. But yeah, you did a good job, and
Thank you.
you it was good. Like the first couple books I've read from indie authors since I started getting more into indie authors, I love the stories because it's I don't know if it's, a publisher didn't get their hands on it and tell you, oh, you can't say this, but
Mhm.
it's like it's like when I'm reading a book by that author, I don't know why, but I'm picturing not their voice reading it, but I like picture the actual characters. And it's crazy how you pick up a book by somebody and you've talked to them before, and then you're reading their work,
Mhm.
and it takes on a life of its own, to where I'm reading that book right now by Tasia, and it's like I'll be reading it and I'll completely forget that it's even by Tasia, and I just get so caught up in the world that she
Right.
wrote.
It's just these are the characters, and that's
Yeah,
where you're at. Yeah. Mm.
and it's oh, it's great. That's what I love about reading and writing so much. It's you get lost in somebody else's world, and thank you for writing that world, because I loved it, and it was insane, but in all the good ways, to where like you are rooting for them,
Right.
and then when like they like come into trouble, you legitimately, even though it's not real, you're legitimately like, I gotta read this next chapter and find out what happens with them, because this is important. And
Right.
it's like, oh, it's a real thrill. What's so tell me a little bit about Broken Binds, because I still don't really know about that one.
Yeah. So the Broken Binds picks up 6 months after the Blood Oath has ended. But if you don't remember, the final epilogue of the Blood Oath is like picks up like 8 months later. So this is picking up 6 months later. So it's a little bit before that like big cliffhanger from the Blood Oath. So you get to kind of see the before and what led up to that, and then you get to see that whole scene again, um, and then everything that happens after. So you get the before, during, and after of that epilogue that has the like that really big cliffhanger, and The Broken Bind, or the Blood Oath was mostly from River's perspective. And the Broken Binds is mostly from Rose's perspective. Um, for those who haven't read it, Rose is a kind of side character who gets close to River. They become friends. Rose was really traumatized. Something horrible happened to her. And then she decided to leave with Aaron and River. Um, and Rose is also married to Michael, so they all left together. Um, and then River and Aaron they're definitely still in the Broken Binds. They actually have huge roles, but it's not from their point of view, if that makes sense. But yeah, they're there. They're not going anywhere. For the people that are like, oh, but I want more River and Aaron. Like, yeah,
We need a River and Aaron.
yeah. I knew since before I even finished the Blood Oath that the sequel was going to be from Rose's perspective. I just always knew that that's how it had to be. Because she had a lot of healing to do. I feel like in the Blood Oath, River had a lot of like kind of character development to go through, and the fact that she's asking questions she should have asked like years ago, and she's going through all this sort of existential crisis, and she had like a lot of growth to go through. And then she went through the growth that she needed to go through, but Rose still has a lot of healing to do. Um, so there was a lot to tell from Rose's perspective.
So was this Broken Binds?
Hmm.
Do you have the page length?
It's just under 300 pages.
Oh, okay. I only wanted to know because I wanted to know like how long the length of the story.
Right. Hmm.
So I feel like there's a lot to tell.
Hmm.
Is this going to be a 2-book series, or are you doing more books for it?
I've had a couple people ask me that. I feel like after the Broken Binds, I feel like the main story is basically finished. If I ever do decide to step back into this world, it will be a prequel that focuses on Father Forrest's sister Brooke, and sort of show you'll get a closer look at the church elders because she was on the elders council, and sort of kind of see Father Forrest's like villain origin story, because you sort of get little clues that maybe he wasn't always like that, at least to the extent that we
Yeah.
see. Um, and so that would be sort of like just kind of seeing how that power kind of corrupts him. And then I do tell Brooke's story a little bit in the Broken Binds through Teresa, who has been there for like 30 years. So you get a little bit of Brooke's story, but I would obviously dive a lot deeper into it in a prequel if I ever went back into that world. And that's like, so I have a story there, but as far as like continuing the world, like in a sequel, I don't know. I guess never say never, but I feel like the story is complete. And I don't like a series that like overstays its welcome and continues past like when the story was complete. Like you know when it's done, when it's complete, and you're like, okay, that's the story. I'm satisfied there. Um, and then if it continues a whole lot more past that, then it just kind of feels like it's dragging on. You know what I mean?
Oh yeah. I've got to be very careful with my sleepless books because um I don't know. I can
You don't
only
want to beat it to death.
I can only push it so far, and it's
Mhm.
like I'm not going to give anything away for that, but it's you can only push it so far, and I've told my wife the ideas for that series, and she told me, she's like, don't beat it to death.
Right.
She's like, you might end it at book 7. you might end it at book 14 or you might end it at book 80. She's like, just when it's time to stop, you got to stop.
Mhm.
I I also really want to talk about I hope I really hope I'm saying this right. A Taste of Paradise.
Mhm.
Yes.
Yeah.
That's your novella. Um
Mhm.
Tell me about that because I know you have, but I talked to so many people on this thing.
Um, that came out on, like, Valentine's Day. That is a like a rom-com novella. It's about a woman who is, like, basically dumped on her wedding day or what would have been her wedding day, and then, she just kind of, like, runs away crying like anybody would do if they're dumped on their wedding day, right? And she's just kind of, like, in an alley, just a mess, and then, um, her, like, guy best friend, Derek, um, finds her, and he's like, "Hey, what maybe you should still go on the honeymoon and just have a good time, forget about that jerk, like, go have fun and just it'll be a good distraction, it'll be good to just get away." Um, and she's like, "Well, I don't wanna go alone," and then he offers to go with her, and so they go and they share the honeymoon suite and, obviously stuff leads to another, and yeah,
Things
that
happen.
and that's that.
I I'm excited to read that one too. I might read that one before Broken Vines. Just because
That one is less than 100 pages. It's like it's not a long one, so yeah.
then I will probably read that before Broken Vines
Yeah.
just to get it out of the way. Not to get it out of the way, but just to you wrote it before Broken Vines.
Right.
Now, is it true? Because I could have sworn I read you say this in the group thing.
Mhm.
Um that you already are working on something else that's not Broken Vines.
Mhm.
You are a quick writer.
Well, thanks. I
Uh,
mean, I try I don't have much of a life. That's that's a big
You and
thing.
Thomas are very quick writers. Man,
Yeah.
I
You wanna
started
know
I started writing a short story like 2 days ago, and I'm almost
or
done with it. Where you guys are like, wrote a short story in 2 hours.
right. Um, but the funny thing about, A Taste of Paradise is it is that like, it's been doing way better than The Blood Oath. So that's kinda crazy. Um, it and you know what? I'm gonna be honest, like, it's kinda bittersweet because I'm like, obviously, I'm grateful that people are reading it, that's amazing. I'm grateful for every reader that I get, but I'm also like, "Why is that the one that gets the
No,
atten" I'm like, "I wrote something better, you know that, right?" Um, and it reminds me of, Tom DeLonge from Blink-182 being like, "Why did everybody latch on to all the small things? We have better songs, like, why is that the
yeah,
one?" Right?
I can name like 5 other songs by them, but that's the main one that I listen
He's
to.
like right, he's like, "Why is that the one?" But I mean, that's like a that's like a dumb thing to, like, even try to complain about. That's like, "Oh, my steak is too juicy, my lobster's too buttery." Like
Yeah,
like, that's a
but
good I mean, I'm very grateful that people are reading anything that I write, so it's like yeah, but I'm like, "I wrote a better book."
it's like I go to these book conventions that everyone's like, we want high school hell, and I'm like, Christmas fears over here, and
Right,
like a
right,
few people are like, I like Christmas horror, I'll get that one, and
right,
but most people are like, I want this book, and I'm like, but it's not the big one. I want you guys to get this
right.
one that
I
I spent a few years on. This one took months.
right, I worked so much harder on The Blood Oath and, like, put everything I mean, I put everything I had into A Taste of Paradise too, but I'm like, "This took so much longer, and there's so much more went into it, and that's not the one that's selling."
Oh, it's crazy how we pour our hearts into everything we write, and then
You,
we want this one to do great, and it doesn't, and another one does really good that we like, but it's not our favorite, and then we're like, but no.
you know what
And
I think it is? I think I think people just like their TBR is so big, and especially if they're not super familiar with an author, I think they might like latch onto the shorter stories because that's less of a commitment. And
yeah,
so they're like, "Oh, this one's only 100 pages. Like, I'll try this one because that's not as big of a commitment versus this 350-page book that's like, you know, I can kind of get that mentality. Like, oh,
I
this
I
one,
won't
yeah,
I won't lie to you. When I bought your husband's novel,
Surviving
um,
Winterland.
I thought that it was gonna be like maybe 200 pages, and when I saw it was 520, I told my wife, I said, I'm not reading this, and she goes, "You can't do that. You told me you'd read it." And then I was like, "Fine." I read 10 pages, and I'm hooked. And I'm like, "Okay, I got a commitment now. I got to read all 500
Yeah,
of these
right.
pages."
Well,
And
the thing
it could have been that book could have been 1,000 pages. I would have stuck through all the way through the 1,000.
the thing about Surviving Winterland is it's a big book, but it doesn't. And I feel like because I've read it obviously a few times, I was like helping with the editing and like giving my feedback like while he was writing it. I feel like it moves fast enough to where like it doesn't really feel like 500 pages. It's like because
No,
something's always going, and you're like, okay, like, uh, and so like it looks intimidating, but it doesn't feel like 500 pages.
oh, not at all. I
Because you know how there are some books where they're just like huge books, and you're like, this could have been like 300 pages shorter, but this one's not like that.
I read a book that was it was 250 pages,
Hmm.
and it's I don't want to say the author because I mean he's a big author. I don't want to say the name of the book either because I won't want to be a dick. Um, he'll probably never see this. He's a big author. He's even been in like anthologies with like Stephen King and like I think Frida McFadden
Do
and
I
like
know who you're talking about?
Paul Tremblay horror movie. I think it's called Horror Movie. It's about this guy writes it's a story about this actor who was
Okay.
in this like cursed film, and half the book is a screenplay and the other half is the guy talking about them remaking the movie that never got made.
Okay.
And I kept thinking to myself all the way to page 250, like, oh, why did I pick this up? And it felt like it could have been a short story. And
Yeah.
I wasn't really into it. I'm not saying I that was a crappy story. I just it wasn't for me.
Mhm.
Whereas that's half the size of Surviving Winterland.
Mhm.
And Surviving Winterland, I had read, I mean, I'm a slow reader, so I had 500 pages read in 2 months. And horror movie took me like 3 months to read, and it's half the pages. And it's just
Um,
I just dreaded reading it. But I'm one of those people. Once I pick up a book, it's got to be really bad for me to be like, I'm not finishing this. And with like
yeah.
the Blood Oath is it's not too hard of a read. It's it's like a little over 300 some pages, and it keeps your attention throughout the book, and that's what I love about it when it just keeps your attention and makes you give a crap about the characters. And so
Mm.
I'm excited to see what you did with Broken Binds because I would like to dive into you know um Rose's story a lot more. Like I'd really like to
Mhm.
see her as a main character. For a little bit there in Blood Oath, I did feel at some points like um foreshadowing kind of thing. Like Rose was turning into one of the main characters, even though she really, I felt it wasn't in the beginning. But yeah,
Mhm.
I'm telling you, the Blood Oath, that was a different read. I thoroughly enjoyed that, and it was nothing like what I thought it would be. Just like Sisters, it's nothing like what I thought it was going to turn into, and it's better, and I love it. I'm
Yeah,
not saying
it's fun when that happens, when you
I'm
have an
not saying
idea
I
and then
thought
it just
I'm not saying I went into Blood Oath thinking this isn't going to be good. I went in with a different expectation than I got,
mhm.
and I don't know. It's like I expected this commune, everybody's brainwashed like thing where it's like the whole community. It's just you focus on the whole community and you zeroed in on these few people, and
Mhm.
I loved that about it. I I loved the I don't want to say it. I'll give it away. Never mind. I'm not gonna say it. I don't want to give
What?
it. The the hand job during the morning ceremony. No, wait, no, I don't think that's what it was. He fingered her during that morning thing when they all get together, and Father Forrest does the his like morning preaching.
Yeah.
I and Aaron's like, I told you I'd get you back. I
Yeah.
I loved things like that because you're reading it and you're thinking, wait, someone's gonna notice this, and
Yeah.
it's that on the edge of your seat feeling, and it's great when someone can really bring characters to life like that. Like, I know you haven't been writing long, but you the way you write, I swear it's like you come off like you've been writing since you were like in your like early teens.
Thank you.
It's no, it's really good. It's like I read. You ever read a book by like somebody else, and then you think,
Mhm.
well, I got to go back to my book and rewrite everything because I suck. I've had that happen a few times, and I'm starting to just learn you're your own worst critic because I read some books and I'm just like the one I'm reading now, Flesh and Flame. I'm reading it. I'm like, this is amazing. Like just like the word choice and everything, and
Mhm.
it's there's more to a story than Troy said this feeling while seeming angry. There, there's
Right.
mo- there's more to it than that. That's going to be thrown in there a few times, but you got to really show how the person feels and not just say, oh, they feel this way, and that can be really hard to do. I think a lot of readers don't realize that it's very hard sometimes to put into words something, especially when it's like heavy dialogue or a really
Mhm.
intense scene. You got to really bring those emotions out, and that's never easy to do.
I feel like people who aren't writers, like, they don't understand how not easy it can be, like, to
Oh,
put
it's
things into
hard.
words. Like, "Oh, you just write down some words, how hard is it?" Like,
It's like, oh,
uh,
it's like what you're reading in the finished piece is nothing like it was in the beginning.
right.
Oh man, I'm telling you, oh, it's something else. Writing is a fickle bitch.
Mm,
That is very enjoyable to do. No, because it's a lot of work, but it's
it
work.
is.
It's work we enjoy doing. But
Yeah.
there's days where you gotta force yourself to sit down
Oh,
and
yeah.
be like, I'm gonna do this because if you don't force yourself to sit down, a couple years are gonna pass and you're like, oh, I got 4 chapters. It's like you
Yeah.
gotta once you're sitting down though, you get that feeling like I can do this. And then you
Mhm.
remember again why you love writing so much.
Yeah.
I like that short story I told you guys I'm working on. It's dialogue heavy, and I normally like to write more action sequence stuff to where there's something going on, and I'm not good with heavy dialogue, so I've been working like crazy, and I've got 4 pages,
Mhm.
And I keep going through it and being like, what do I got to change? I want them to seem like they're actually having a conversation. So, like, I bring Amanda down and I'm like, hey, you're going to read this with me and we're going to talk. You're this person, I'm this person. And I'm like, got to make sure it flows correctly. Would somebody really say this? How would it sound?
Yeah,
And they're
that's the thing about dialogue is thinking like, how do people actually talk? Because I've read books where I'm like, nobody talks like this.
yeah.
Right.
Oh, and it's like I've got the characters in this book in this short story I'm doing. It's like they're based off real people that are on the radio that I
Hmm.
listen to every morning
Really?
on my way to my route. Once I get to work, I listen to them for like 30 minutes in the morning, and they're always like I didn't realize that swearing is allowed on the radio until I heard this radio station.
Really?
Yeah, like the one guy always calls the other guy. He goes, "You're being a bitch ass bitch." And the first time I heard that, I was like, "They can say that on the radio?" And yeah,
I wouldn't have thought that because
yeah,
like the songs that they play on the radio is like it's always the clean version.
yeah,
So that's interesting.
it's nuts. And that's why I can't wait for you guys to read it because I want to know if I did a good job or not.
Yeah. Yeah, we can
Because
definitely read it.
you edited Sisters
Mhm.
and you found so much stuff that we screwed up, and now it's in the other editor's hands, and I'm I don't know, I'm worried, even though I think I shouldn't be. And
Yeah.
so does Thomas edit all your stuff, or do you like how many people see it?
Um, so I go through it a couple of times myself and like see what I can catch, and then he goes through it and just like demolishes it. Like you would think that we would just tell each other what we want to hear, but no, like he's brutally honest and I'm brutally honest with his stuff too. Like if anything could be better, he will let me know. He's not just gonna tell me what he thinks I want to hear.
Good.
Which is good. That's exactly what you want. Like he will let me know if there's something that he doesn't like.
You guys every time when I was reading the notes you had for
Mhm.
Sisters, there were times where I would literally vent to my wife about it because I'd be like,
She's being mean to me.
I'd go, you want to know what Celeste said? And she'd go, what? And I go, I'm reading her notes, and according to her, uh, if you get bumped on the head, it takes a while for the goose egg to pop up. And I said, I've had my head, I've bumped into stuff and had it been immediate. And I looked up online, and the one thing I look up says it takes 3 to 5 minutes for one to form.
Mhm.
And then I look up another thing up, and it says it can form instantly, but it all depends on the impact and how hard you were hit and what you were hit by.
Mhm.
And I was like, damn. So I'm like, you look up the same thing and you get two different answers sometimes. And I was like, but then you had the thing about the cutting board, and
Oh
that,
yeah.
and I told Amanda, I said, does this make sense? And she goes, yeah. And I was like, oh. And she's like, you got to start taking the editor's word, like for real. She's like, it's there's a reason for it for an editor. And then I'm like,
Mhm.
I'm like, oh, I started getting annoyed to where I'm like, I've been writing longer than her. And she goes, that doesn't matter. And it's just like I hate changing stuff.
Yeah.
Like the word otherworldly that you had a problem with. Amanda goes, yeah, the otherworldly is like it sounds like an alien language. She goes, that doesn't make sense for what you're talking about. And
Right, the context was like,
and
maybe
I'm
there's a
like,
better word we can use
fine.
here. Right.
I
Yeah.
the one thing I think that I disagree with you completely on, and I mean I will never budge on this, and I mean this. You don't put pineapple on pizza. You don't do it. It's,
Wow.
it might as well be a sin. I can't do it.
Wow.
Disgusting. I like pineapple, but not on pizza. Now, are
It's
you a soda or a pop person?
soda.
Me too. It's soda.
But but that's because I'm from California. So it really just
Oh,
depends on where you're raised.
you're from California?
Mhm.
Oh wow.
I was born in Vegas, raised in California, moved to Ohio when I was 21.
Okay. All right. I so Thomas is a pop person.
Mhm.
You guys are the normal ones because in Ohio you've got square pizza, where
Yeah.
in
Square
everywhere
cut. Yeah. Yep.
everywhere else they've got like the slices, and I'm like,
Mhm.
and my wife, I always tell her, I'm like, please ask them for cut and squares, and she goes, "You're one of those people." She's like, "I have to actually ask them." I'm like, "Yes, you do. It gets us more pizza," and she goes, "No, it doesn't," and I'm like, "More people could eat it, so it gives you more pizza, even
I
though."
mean, yeah, we kind of like it just because it like cuts into like the bite size pieces. Yeah, it's easier to control how much or how little you want to eat. Because if you start eating a slice, you got to eat that whole slice.
Yeah.
Right.
Do you prefer hot or cold pizza?
Huh. I mean, honestly, if it's leftovers, I can eat a pizza cold, but people think I'm weird for doing that.
See, I can eat it cold. I prefer it hot. I know some people who like cold pizza, and I'm like, ugh. But
I
if
mean,
it's
if it's
cold,
leftovers, I
yeah.
can eat it cold, but
Oh, definitely.
mm, yeah.
I should write a short story about pizza that's cold that becomes like it's been left out too many days, and the guy eats it, and then like this monster forms in his stomach from it like having mold on it, like a mold monster. I don't know. That I'm not gonna do that. That would be funny though. That'd be like a corny short horror story, like a creature story.
Right. You know, one
Uh,
of these days I want to write a short story that is not to be taken seriously at all. Um, because like a few weeks ago, it was my mom's death day on like the 26th of June. Um, and so I was like wanting to find like just a funny, stupid book, just to like distract me from my mom's death day. And I found one. It was a romance with alien shifters who shift into hammers when they're turned on, and it was called Nailed. It's freaking weird, and I was just laughing my ass off throughout the whole thing. But I'm like, you know what? It's not meant to be taken seriously at all. It's dumb, but it was entertaining and it was fun. And I'm like, okay, whatever. And so that kind of inspired me. Like, one of these days, I'm gonna write a short story that is just not to be taken seriously at all.
I like that though. When they're turned on, they turn into hammers. I like that.
Yeah,
That is pretty funny. Um,
that that was an interesting one.
we that's got me excited and scared for this next episode of Writers After Dark when we talk about skinwalkers and Tiffany Gomez.
Right.
That motherfucker is not real.
I've said that before, just like randomly. That's just something I put every once in a while.
She won't say what she saw.
Like, I'm telling you right now, that motherfucker right there is not real.
She won't say what she saw. And it's like she's been on so many interviews talking about it, and she's like, I'm not allowed to say what I saw due to legal reasons. And it's like,
What?
by that you mean the FBI or the CIA threatened you that if you say you saw an alien that you're gonna disappear? I think that's what happened.
I don't know, man. She saw something. She was scared. Like,
Yeah,
she was like, screw this, I'm walking out. Like, she didn't even care about the flight anymore.
that's how you know she saw something. You paid for that flight, and you're like
Right,
getting off.
right. And you can't really like you can't really like just brush, oh, like she was probably drunk or high, because they don't let you on a plane if you look visibly fucked up. Like if you've been drinking, like if you're causing like problems before the flight,
Yeah,
they're not gonna let you on the plane if you like if you're drunk or causing problems before the flight. So something happened after she was boarded. Like
yeah. I
right,
I really think she saw something she wasn't supposed to see. I've been watching just to prepare for the next few episodes, watching a
right.
lot of creepy shit.
Mhm.
And there's a couple I wanna talk to everybody about that I think will be very interesting. I want to talk about this Ohio 16.
I don't know anything about that.
The 16 kids in Ohio who were like living in absolute squalor, and their parents um like don't even seem like they can like make out full sentences. They're so messed up, and it's like, yeah, you haven't heard about this?
Mm-mm.
See, I was talking to Tasia about it. You and Hunter seem to not know. It's crazy because these people live like this happened recently, like this month. These kids were found, and
Uh,
it's maybe an hour or two from where you guys live.
sounds like Ohio though.
Oh, that what's creepy is there's probably houses like that all over the place where there's like
Mhm.
abuse and no
Yeah.
one knows about it.
Yeah, that's just one that we heard of. Like how many have we not heard of, right?
Oh yeah, messed up world.
Mhm.
Oh man. Well, we'll save that for WAD, writers after dark, or WAD. WAD will be rad. Oh man, I love doing these podcasts. Oh, I feel like this episode's over and it's got me so sad.
I mean, I can talk a little bit about my next one after the Broken Bank,
Yeah, do it.
because
I
we didn't
want to hear
really get like too much into that. So it is going to be different than anything else I've written. It's going to be just pure like horror slash thriller, with a little bit of like paranormal stuff in it, and no romance. 'Cause I don't want to just like not write romance anymore, but I wanted to branch out a little bit, and just do something different, just as like a palate cleanser, and also like as a little bit of a challenge, because um I have heard from many people that like one of the things I do pretty well is romance. Um and one of the I think the only like really negative review I've gotten, like from I've gotten negative ratings for A Taste of Paradise, and I've gotten a lot of positive rating. It's been all over the place because everyone's different.
oh,
Um, so I've gotten like a few like negative ratings, but a lot of positive. But one of the negative like ratings that they actually wrote a review. It was an ARC review, um, and she was just like ripping it apart like as much as she could, just criticizing every little thing that could possibly be criticized. And then she's like, "Oh, but like the spice was on point, no complaint there." So I'm like, you know what? I want to see if I can write something with no spice and how it does. And maybe it won't sell at all. Maybe it'll do well. I don't know.
I
Um,
I always say if you have a bunch of good reviews and one bad review, you're doing really good because
yeah, you know what? Everybody is different. You're not going to please everyone. You really
because
not.
I have horrible reviews on my first book that I
Which
ever
one?
wrote. Shoot.
Oh, really?
I have a 1-star review, and the person is just like, it's torture porn. There's no point. There's no point. There's no plot to it. The characters are dull, and it's like the character. It's like the main character is a drug addict, and his brother's just trying to like take him out on his birthday and have a fun time with him,
Mhm.
and it just goes completely south. But I don't know. It's some people just like if I don't like a book, I don't really give it a review at all because it's like, why give a
I
bad?
don't either, especially, like I especially wouldn't do that to an indie author, because, like, I know, like, how hard we work and, like, how hard it is to get reviews to be. Because you got to think how hard it is for us to get reviews. So if one person leaves a 1-star review, we're going to have to work that much harder to bring the average up.
Yeah.
And so I wouldn't do that to an indie author. I would just not review, right? But okay, so this thriller, I can give like some details about it. It is going to be sort of Day of the Dead,
Day of the Dead, Disturbia.
Disturbia, and like Paranormal Activity all kind of
Yeah.
thrown in. So basically, um, it starts on Halloween, and the Day of the Dead. A lot of people, well, some people might not know this, but the Day of the Dead is actually 2 days. It's actually November 1st and November 2nd. So Day of the Dead is kind of like a misnomer. It's actually 2 days. Um, I mean, not that that's whatever. So it starts on Halloween, and it follows this character named Remy, who her grandmother, or she's Mexican. That's where the Day of the Dead kind of starts a little bit. And she was kind of raised by her grandmother, and her grandmother was murdered, and it was a cold case, and nobody ever really found out what happened. And she's kind of desperate for answers, and she's just like done waiting on the police, and just tired of it being a cold case. She wants justice. She wants to know what happened. Um, And so on the Day of the Dead, she figures that the veil between the living and the dead is going to be like the thinnest, and that will be her best opportunity to try to contact her grandmother. So on Halloween night, she gets a Ouija board from a like witchy shop, and she's like, "We're gonna contact my grandmother," and she's with her cousin and her best friend. It's gonna be like a golden trio. What's the last book we had that had like a golden trio of like best friends?
Yeah.
We don't have enough of those. Come on.
No.
So it's like her cousin, and then yeah, her best friend, and they're all kind of doing it together. And it's funny because her cousin is a guy, and he's the one who's like freaking out and is like superstitious and is like, no, this is El Diablo, like all freaking out. And then her best friend is like, I don't even believe in this. And I feel like with a lot of stories, it's like the other way around. It's like the the male is like, oh, this is all just bullshit. I don't believe in this. And then the women are like, no, what is this? Because yeah, I feel like that's kind of prevalent in a lot of stories, maybe a little bit because misogyny, just like just assume
Yeah.
that the man is going to be like thinking logically, like, no, this doesn't make sense because A, B, C, like
Yeah.
just the one that's thinking logically, but whatever. So they get the Ouija board, and then they are able to contact her grandmother, and they're like, "Who killed you?" And she spells out the neighbor's name, and then yeah, everything just goes
Leave it
crazy from
there.
there.
Leave it there. Oh, now I want to read it. See,
Yeah,
now I gotta read it. I love
yeah.
that. It's great. Oh
And
man.
I can't wait to share the cover. The cover is not finished yet, but from what I've seen, it's going to be really good. So
Oh,
I'm excited about that.
sweet. That is
And
awesome.
we're about to find out if I can sell a thriller that has no romance. So guess we'll find
Oh,
out.
you'll be good. You'll be good.
I would have loved for it to be done by like October, like peak Halloween season. I think it would have. I think it really would have sold then,
Yeah.
and like kind of gathered a lot of attention. But there's no way of it being done by then unless I were to like really rush it or half-ass it, which I don't want to do.
No. No, you never want to half-ass art. That is a big
No,
no I've learned.
no, it would be nice if it was done by then because that would be probably when it would be like highest in demand because it's like it's
Yeah.
around Halloween. That's people would be looking for like a spooky read for Halloween, but Mm, it is what it is. Me and
Yeah, it happens, unfortunately. Oh, that was great.
yeah,
Thank you for coming on and talking about your books. I'm very excited for these new ones.
yep. Thanks for having me. And the
Absolutely.
Broken Binds comes out August 17th, I think.
August
You
17th.
think I would know? It's my book. I'm like,
It means you're busy.
it's the 17th or 18th. It's the 17th, yeah.
Okay.
And pre-orders are already up for the ebook, and I'm taking pre-orders for signed paperbacks. And yeah, so check it out.
Awesome. Definitely. Everybody check it out. I'll be checking it out soon enough after I read A Taste of Romance. Paradise.
Paradise.
A Taste of Paradise. Sorry.
Yep.
But yes, I love it. And I hope we are recording WAD tomorrow.
Yeah,
Earlier on the earlier side so that Heather can come on.
yeah. If everyone is available, maybe around 7ish, then that might
Yeah,
be.
that's
Yeah,
perfect.
we'll have to get in the group chat and see if that works.
I love it. Well, thank you for helping me get a guest on because
Yep. Thanks for having me.
I think like nobody wants to do anything Sunday, so I'm happy you came on.
Really. Do
And
people get nervous to go on the podcast
oh,
too?
extremely,
Yeah.
extremely. And some people want to come back on who I didn't enjoy having on. That I don't have come back on because it was hard to talk to them. I'm not going to name anybody's name just in case they
Right.
want.
Right.
All right. Well, thank you very much. And I can't wait to do the podcast with you guys tomorrow and tell Thomas I said hi.
Yep. Thanks
All
for
right.
having me.
No problem. You guys have a good night.
You too.
All right. Bye.
See you.